Tony, or Mr._Jim on Twitter. Funnily, I went to Bet last year, and Chris Ratcliffe, the sales director of Scholastic, saw me in real life and laughed because he recognised me from my avatar. I'd like to think my head is neither that big, nor my trousers that garish. But that's just me. I'm here today to talk to you about shifting learning technology and shifting learning culture and how technology can impact on that. It's a bit self-indulgent. I've just moved schools where I've taken on a management role for the first time, with the emphasis on engaging with parents, developing community links, and should we say modernising the ICT use and equipment in the school. So quite a wide hat, and these are just sort of the things I've done. And I always like to think, that change isn't something that happens overnight, but it's something that is integral for everybody, in every walk of life, in every way. I think that the chairman or the CEO of Intel said any company that is unprepared to change absolutely everything they do in order to survive will die, will fail. And I think that should be something that teachers use and sort of have somewhere in the back of their minds ticking over, because just because we've already done it doesn't mean it's any good anymore. And that's something that I had to go against. And the school I moved to, Ofsted classed it as good. It is good. It's good in so many ways. With a very mixed catchment, but it's a village school. There's lots of good things going on. Quite well-established staff, which brings both positives and negatives, and it is, a double-edged sword. But it was unique in their approach to things and in the type of children they created. And, my role was, nobody's going to believe I'm any good or want to listen to me until I've proved it. And the place to prove it is in the classroom. If you're coming in saying you're good at what you do, listen to me, I'm good, I've got ideas, my first response would be, go on then, mate, show me. So that's what I've had to do. Hopefully well, but these are the types of things that I hold dear and try and use as a way of stimulating and helping other staff to see their successes. So I purposely go out of my way to praise things that work. And I don't stand for any rubbish either. In a good way and a bad way, because I never lie to the children. I have 2 rules in my class. Don't tell me lies and try your best. That's it. That's all I need. Because if you are trying your best and I ask you, you'll say yes. I mean, if you're not trying your best, you better not bloody say yes. Otherwise I'll have you, because you're lying to me. And literally, when they do their best, I'll always tell them the truth. Well done. Let's go and show you work. And I constantly drag parents in to show them good things. And it's that, continually telling them these are good things, come and see, that hopefully not only the kids get that, but the parents also start to become involved. And that's where this culture, this development and change really comes into effect and really has power. Because there is no point in jumping on a bandwagon until you know which direction the bandwagon is travelling in. And you really have to think about where you take it and what you choose to back. Now, who uses primary resources? I do, all the time. Test, all the time. I am constantly stealing other people's things because I'm lazy. I like to see my wife every now and then. Well, not that much, actually. Not every now and then. But I also want a life. And I understand that this is a job. It is not my life. I take it very, very seriously. But I want something else. And it's important to give people ideas that will work, that will improve their teaching, but will not actually take away from everything else they hold dear. So I thought I need something that the kids and the school can use based on Ofsted's requirements, based on everything else. And so I ran questionnaires. But I did it in Google Docs because it collates it itself, and I hate collating docs. So I used some technology. But it raised those issues there. That's not actually true, that's just what the parents perceive. And perception is sometimes more of a battle than actual reality. So I started learning loss. Has anybody heard of learning loss? Some of you have. Basically, imagine you get a piece of homework. I hate homework because you send them boring closed tasks that nobody likes marking, the kids don't like doing, the parents sit them in a corner, and they make it see, and nobody actually benefits. Put it in a file, sheet the French pronunciation. That's what it is. Now, I personally said, right, this is your learning log. You've got 4 tasks. You're not allowed to go over the page, but you must complete everything. So you have to think laterally. How can I present it? What can I do? One kid last week sellotape's a USB stick onto his page. Right? And he just went, I went in work. Didn't know anything, so I went on Zamza, which really deflated him because I could access what he'd done. But he purposely done it on Works, put it on a pen drive, just to try and show he could do it. Brilliant. Pain in the backside, but brilliant. You know, and that's the type of creative outlook and approach that actually starts to get them engaged. Because what's the point? It tells you time for a lot. Right. Professional development. That's really important. What you're doing now is really important, but it's also showing the staff at your schools that this is self-perpetuating CPD and it is perfectly viable, especially in these economic climes. So you're going to turn around and say, I can give you an idea that you can use tomorrow that has been proven to work. Fact, I have the evidence, watch the video, there's the link. You know, and that type of thing shows that there are so many people already doing what they're scared to do that there's no need to be scared anymore. You know, I'll talk about, if I have time to do a 2-minute presentation, what I've convinced the staff to share, what they already do, and as soon as they saw that they did something new and unique, they were more prepared to actually go ahead and go, oh, actually, you know. But that's the next step, build into clusters, do things like that, and that's going to happen at the next TeachMeetX Oct, which is great, and I'm not going to plug it, so I'm going to move on. The second step, incorporating ICT. So you use things that are free. I know Julian's going to talk about it, Kevin's talked about it, David's talked about it. Involve the children at the grassroots. Because if you give them ownership over whatever thing you are using, you will get better results. That's proven because I went on Brain Pop and I said to the kids, go and find something, do the quiz, and tell me 4 things you didn't know. You have 1.5 minutes to find what you want, you write it down, you watch the video, I will come back in 10 minutes. And I went into my class and I left them in the ICT suite with my teaching assistant. And our ICT suite in a corridor, so it's open, but even so, I went up and I marked books because they didn't need me to sit there and go, and that was all I was doing. It's a pointless waste of my time. So I did something else because I knew they were engaged and they were focused and everything was specific to them. I sent them to the Cool Tools for Schools wiki and said, find me something that I can use. Go. Pick something. And I wanted that, and yeah, are the guinea pigs? But essentially, are we doing all the hamster wheels ourselves when we shouldn't need to? I'm coming. So using the staff, I use Animoto to show school events because if you've not used Animoto, you can embed 5, 10 seconds worth of video and drop it into a slide presentation, which adds an extra dimension, which is something different. I bought staff kit and said, if you use it, I will buy it until the money runs out. But I built on their strengths, developed their weaknesses, and the final step is the triumvirate of education, pupil at the top, communication channels between school and home in order to build relationships with staff. I'm sorry. So that's lending into out-of-school provision. So I choose to go after school, provide workshops for parents so they don't feel donkeys in, analog donkeys in a digital age. So, last 3 things, okay? Change is slow. We all accept that. But just because it's slow doesn't mean it's beneficial to tweak and nudge and shove and push gently in order to get what you want. If you provide those learning opportunities that stimulate, you will provide a basis for firm developmental successes, potentially. Potential is the word, but that's really what we're dealing with every single day. Potential. So once the parents know what's going on, they're more likely to back you. And as soon as they've got you on side, hopefully in the future,